All right, all right, all right. What is up, Honey Badger Nation? Man, thank you guys for tuning in to another Honey Badger Agent Attraction Q&A. Got we're one short today, but we do have Mr. Kinder and myself here to jump in and talk all things real estate related, agent attraction related, business related, whatever's on your mind related. What's up, cuz?
Man, it's all good, man. It's all good.
Very cool, man. How are things on the island?
Things on the island are fantastic. Actually, I do think I broke the record today. I got 2 things done in Puerto Rico. It's not supposed to be possible, but me being the overachiever I did manage to get 2 things done. One of which was going to the bank to send a wire, which that in and of itself took about 2 hours. And then I was fortunate enough to be able to get the tags for our vehicle so we can get in and out of the neighborhood without having to stop at the gate today, which was on my list for like 2 months now. But so yeah, I trumped their whole system today somehow and got past them. The day's it's not even halfway over, man. I'm winning.
So just to fill everybody in, just we laugh that you can only get one thing done a day in Puerto Rico. So
yeah, there's a few rules here that you have to live by. Uncle Gene has informed us of. And one thing a day is been very much you will have the wrong expectations if you think you're going to do more than one thing. Yeah. And then the other thing is your blinkers are a sign of weakness.
No blinkers. I love it. Yeah. I feel weird without turning my blinker on here now. So.
Not here, man. They just zoom around you. What's going on?
That's so funny, man. Mr.
Hey,
Hillsman.
I want to make a note for everybody that's watching this. It's something I bet you don't know exists inside of this Facebook group. And so it used to be called Facebook Units, which is what a horrible name, like terrible name. They just changed it to guides. So if you look at the tabs at the top of the group, you'll see guides, and inside of those guides, there's not quite all of them, but the best of the best expert mentors that John does, some agent attraction, the top 200 interviews, which if you have not been watching the top 200 interviews, they are mind-blowing, excellent content for agent attraction. It's just unpacking what the most successful people in the top 200 in the Honey Badger group has been doing to get where they're at. And we unpack that, have some really good questions. It kind of uncovers a lot of what they did in the beginning, how they got momentum, how they manage and lead their group, what types of systems they have in place to do that, what tools are they using, if any, all those types of questions. And so super good content. And everybody's doing a little bit different, right? Like not everybody, I would love to say, hey, everybody's following that duplicatable system that we feel like is the number one thing, but that's not the case. And it's not my goal to press upon everyone to follow what I know works. Everybody kind of finds their own way, especially in this group. We're all entrepreneurial. So getting to hear different perspectives of what's working for other folks is just super valuable. So
because do you think that it's people just kind of leaning into what they're the most comfortable with or what is most, who they are at their core, and that's the process they're delivering?
Yeah, I think so, man. I think I think so. Yeah, that, and I think there's certain things that I didn't have an outbound process, right? I created content and that created inbound. And so, that's my philosophy. And then from a communication standpoint, some people still feel like the videos are not the best way to go. I strongly disagree with that. I don't care. I'll show you 1,000 times over why I believe the videos are the most.
I think that falls into the philosophy, the whole engineering of what, you guys have been doing since 08, 09, growing, the association. And so that's just kind of who you guys are at your core and being able to see that result as well.
Well, here's the thing. And so I think there's 2 schools of thought. One school of thought is, and they're not wrong. They're not right or wrong. They're just 2 different schools of thought. One is, let me get to know you. Let me get to understand what your goals are, what you're trying to accomplish. And then let me show you how I can help you provide a solution. And then carry that heavy lifting of introducing them to the model at that time. Right. Which that's a longer, I feel like that's a longer term process of getting someone to join EXP. And I prefer the get them excited to look at an opportunity to partner with top agents in the industry to help you double your business, add a new passive income stream and an exit strategy without ever having to pay for coaching, training, or technology ever again. I believe that One Big Fire video is the best video you could ever have somebody watch because it hits them where they're at and then it introduces them to the model. And so if you can get someone excited enough to watch that video, then you can get them on a three-way call. Then we can get them over to EXP. And that process, I feel like, happens a lot faster. And so there's just two different kinds of schools of thought. But I know there's more than one way to get to a goal. So I'm not. I ain't trying to say you shouldn't do this or shouldn't do that. But like Chuck, Chuck and Angela did a great job. Their interview was fire. And Chuck got to 900 agents. So if you want to know how somebody built 900 FLQAs, well, Chuck and Angela have done that. And so there's a lot to be learned from whatever it is that they're going to say, right? I'm no dummy. I never did that. I don't have 900 people I personally recruited into my company. So there's a lot to learn from that. There's a lot to learn from Tina Call and the interview I did with her and Jesse Dow and really the process they're using with YouTube and how they're leveraging YouTube and what they do to help agents on YouTube. And then now also helping them with agent attraction. All of those, there's just so many things that are going to fire off when you see, okay, there's so many different angles and ways you could do it. What is your vehicle that it would be best for you? You'll start to figure out, a track you can run through. Yeah.
So that makes the next question would be, okay, you got all of these different ways. How do you narrow down what's going to be the best way for you?
Yeah. So that's a really tough question, John.
Yeah.
It's a great question, but it's a really tough one because here's what I believe. I believe that it's not the most duplicatable to become an expert at YouTube and leverage that to build your list. But Jesse and Jackson have done that, and that's their wheelhouse, right? They already have that product. They already have the skill of building a product and selling it to real estate agents and now shifting and leveraging that to grow their group, right? So that's a unique characteristic. Nobody else should try to do that unless you have an enormous following like Chauncey Pham does. It's similar to that. Chauncey Pham had a similar to that situation. She's got the most probably FLAs of anybody, but she was doing content before she joined EXP at a high level, teaching people how to get into real estate, and that was kind of her thing. And so all of these things work, and Gogo has social media, and she's but it's the answer to most everybody that may be watching this. The answer is you got to do what's the most duplicatable. Okay, and so when you see all of these ideas, it's all good and great. But the most duplicatable thing is going to be the best thing for you, because if you can do it, then you can show someone else how to do it. You can show someone else how to do it. You can show them how to do it, and they can show other people how to do it. And that's what makes a group really take off and grow. And that's what I've seen, where if you're not an influencer, you don't have a certain, highly, leverageable set of skills to tap into, then the best system for you is to tap into ours, right? And so leveraging it, or unless you're under one of these folks, then it would make sense to maybe leverage what they're doing if it's working, because that's the whole intention. Is they're trying to create they should be trying to create duplicatable processes for you as well, right? Making assets for you and things of that nature. We did all that. It's in Expert Mentors, and it's also at jkinder.com. But if you want to be able to track whether someone watches the video or not, the most duplicatable thing you can do is invite to a live event, invite to a live presentation, invite to watch a video. That is fundamentally simply the easiest way for you to do agent attraction. Get someone excited enough. And this is all we did, right? I'd be on the phone with someone, I'd be like, listen, man, I wasn't even going to tell you about this. These were the coaching calls. Remember when I did all the coaching calls and I was still coaching at the time? And I get to the end of the conversation about their business. I was like, man, I had no idea that this is what this was going to lead to. But I have to send you a video, and I'm going to tell you right now, you're not going to be able to sleep tonight. You're literally going to be facing the floors. When you see what I'm about to send you, you're not going to believe it. And I said, and then that's going to lead to more insomnia, and you're going to watch more videos. And that's absolutely 100% what happens anytime somebody watches this video. I'm going to send it to you. When do you think you could watch it by? They have to tell you that. Now that's a commitment, right? And then, if I was to send it to you, would you watch it? When they say yes, that's a commitment. Then I say, when could you watch it by? When they tell me a time they could watch it by, then that's a second commitment, micro commitment. And then the last one is, so if I called you then Saturday, at 1:00, you would for sure watch it by then. All right, cool. That's a third commitment. So that's the triple commitment script for getting someone to watch the video. that went from like 1 person out of 10 watching the video to like, 5 or 6 people out of 10 watching the video. And really depending on the call prior to that, if I had a call with them or not, or how much value was added in the call that we were on.
I think too, in revealing how much pain they're really in and what's their real the problem they're trying to solve. And you're like, poking on that pain point, and then like, oh man, and then you provide, an opportunity, a solution to help them solve that problem. Yeah.
That's really all it is. That's all the 3-way call really is me trying to understand what their goals are, what the vision is, what the biggest problem is, and how do we think we could help them get there faster. And there's not a problem you have in real estate, at least up to probably, 6 or 7 or 800 transactions, something like that. And really the problem that you have there is probably the same problem you have at 4, 5, 6, and 7 anyway. And so there's not really a problem you have that we haven't experienced and then figured out how the best, looked at all the ways to accomplish it and fix it. And so that's why the 3-way call is such a good way to do that. And so yeah, and I mean, you just want to match up what is the ways that we can help them solve that problem through EXP. And we have a lot of ways that we can do that. So like that to me is the most duplicatable process that there is. But you got to find what's working for you,
Yeah, no, I love that. And being able to, what you can deliver, value to that's going to resonate with, the ideal agent that you want to work with. So, I always go back to, if kind of who your ideal client, your avatar is, then you're creating that content that's speaking to that person's problem. Right. So like Jackie Bowman, right. She's, her person is, the mom with kids that's burning the candle at both ends. That's like, feels like life's falling apart, that just needs some traction. They're just trying to get, some traction in the business, a newer agent. So she speaks and creates content to that. You go back to knowing, our character, our avatar at NAEA was, we help winners win bigger and win faster. So, those agents that are already winning a little bit, but, how do they get to that next level? And so creating content and speaking to them and, really leveraging, no matter what, leveraging those 8 stages that we identified, it feels like a year ago, but it's been almost 6 years since, we really identified and created those 8 stages. And knowing what those problems are and being able to help those people that are in those stages solve those problems.
Right. We should probably share that with the group too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we'll reshare it in there. So cool, man. So I love that on the guides. So was that were you sharing the old 10 by 10 agent attraction training that you put together, putting it in the guides?
So yeah, good. Thank you for circling back. Yeah. So yeah, what I was doing was what I realized was that we created, and I went through it, and some of it's a little bit outdated in terms of like the onboarding time is not 14 days. Like there's this little nuances that was a little outdated. Process wise, it's pretty similar, but it was really well put together, to be quite honest. Pat myself on the back, and Al as well. But that was through us, really hands-on with a lot of people going through those processes. And then we built out those modules that we felt like were the best. And so I knew they were hidden behind the paywall of an expert mentors, which not everybody has. And so with 7,000 people in the group, it just made sense to put those videos out there where anybody can watch them if they wanted to. So your little honey hole for agent attraction training is in those guides now. And you can, watch all the different trainings and interviews and everything else. And all the best stuff is there.
Did you so I'll have to go in and look. I haven't looked at it yet. So there's like, you get into guides, or there are channels in there to where it's segmented out?
Yeah. They're all labeled. So there's the expert mentors is at the top, and then it's agent attraction. I think it's the 10 by 10 agent attraction training is what I called it, the original.
And then top 200.
Then top 200 interviews, influence interviews. Yeah. And then there's one unit that just has the interview me and you did with, Dan Hillsman that we say is
perfect.
Everybody should watch. So
yeah, I agree 100%. That is definitely around it. Then Andre's with it as well. So I'll make sure I'll get somebody on the team to go in there and clean up, make sure that all the expert mentors are there in that channel within the guides. So it's easy to access. Like you said, I mean, we're 7,000 plus and it's growing, every day.
Yep.
Really, really good stuff. No, that's, man, that's fantastic. That's, I love that, being able to get that cleaned up and easy to access for everybody. Because the group is definitely definitely growing, and it's really cool.
Yeah, it is crazy.
Damn it. I had a question on the agent attraction. No, it'll come back. It'll come back. Mr. Hillsman. So, I know what I was going to say. So, you haven't even seen this yet. So we've been working at NAEA kind of a little bit behind the scenes. We haven't had a full-fledged launch. It's just been kind of soft, working with directly hands-on with a few folks. We have something called Branded Agent University, which has all the NAEA content, as well as it's your own learning management software to be able to put your own training and content into. I know the Global Alliance has their university. We've got quite a few current coaching clients at NAEA that have their own university. But one of the things that we've been working behind the scenes are the two biggest problems that we know most teams and agents have, and that's the onboarding phase. So Jeff's been working with Tracy Combs, who does all of the onboarding, for us. Jay and Al and Michael and myself. And so we've been working hands-on with Tracy, building out the path when you bring somebody on to EXP with the checklist and the fast start trainings and all the things that they have to go through. So I'm super, super pumped how that's unrolling. And as well as we're working with a few other teams on their own agent onboarding, that's going to be in a learning path format. Inside of Branded Agent University. It's like, it's just the celebrity positioning you instead of, hey, go in, go here, go there, go whatever. And it's like, hey, no, you go into the Global Alliance University and you're going to find, all of your, everything you need to do to get up to speed and be trained as well. So we'll do a showcase on Branded Agent University as we feel like it's a really a full-fledged launch. But, yeah, if you guys are interested,
it's super. Yeah,
it's awesome.
Yeah, you gotta see that stuff.
Yeah, so it's awesome, especially when you guys are at a at a certain stage where you're bringing multiple people on every month. It's gonna save you a lot of time, headache, and frustration.
It's the number one system most agents don't have when they start a team, which is an onboarding and ongoing training process.
That's it. Yeah, I want to recruit people. I want to bring people on. Okay, now what? What's the ripple effect to that?
Now I'm busy dealing with that instead of doing the things that make money.
All right, absolutely. So we're trying to help that, create that. It's pretty dang awesome. Access, yeah, you guys can go get it. There's obviously it's a learning management platform and upfront, so there is some cost associated with it. But it's a huge investment that saves you guys, not a huge investment, it's an investment that will save you guys a lot amount of time and energy and gives you a little bit of better positioning. Man, so what else is happening?
Man, just trying to, I was over in Palmas yesterday, and Jay Nelson had an event, so I got to see Gene Frederick and Scott and some of those guys over there. There is a new development on the horizon in the mortgage space that there may very well be a EXP version for mortgage. EXP doesn't own it. I think the end game is that would be what might end up happening. Don't know that for certain, but that's what I'm anticipating. That when people like Gene get behind it and it becomes very difficult to ignore. I was trying to ignore it, and when you have people like Gene behind it, Scott and Rob and some of those guys, they're really smart people. So you got to pay attention. And so currently, I'm still in the vetting process with them and providing feedback. But I think there's a way for agents to make money on mortgages legally and build a similar downline to what EXP is, and mortgage brokers have the same opportunity. So could be something pretty cool once it kind of gets vetted properly. But it's been around already for a little while, but it's not brand new. But it's definitely it's got the attention of a lot of really smart people. So
that's great. How was the event?
It was a shit show because they shut down the event a day before. So they let him know that they were going to have a room the day before. And there was already, a lot of people, almost everybody was already there. So they had 115 people in not in Dorado, in Palmas, which is about 100 people more than it can hold. It was good. I mean, it was great, just sharing the story and the philosophy that what we have and helping, really we didn't talk one thing about revenue share. We talked about how to grow a business and most everybody's, we had different kind of tracks that people were in during the day or whatever, I guess. And, mine ended up being more focused on, the questions anyway, were more focused on growing the business. And so it was great.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Hey, I've been meaning to ask you, how was when the mastermind, the Mexico crew that came up a couple weeks ago? How was that event?
It was unbelievable. It was in Spanish, and so I sat. Man, yeah, it's another pocket of like just a tremendous amount of opportunity. Carlos is, he's the real deal Holyfield, and he filled the room very much mastermind style, very much. As I was trying to listen to what he was saying, I was like, and every once in a while I hear EXP, I'd be like, all right, he's talking about EXP now. So, just trying to read what was going on in the room. And there was it reminded me of when we first announced it at our mastermind. It was the same size room, same caliber of kind of people. And a lot of questions and this, that, and the other. And then, I came up and they videoed it, but so they'll have the asset. They'll put the Spanish, the words on the screen for it or whatever, just so, they can use it because nobody understands. Not everybody obviously in Mexico speaks English. So, but it was good, man. It was really good. Really good, solid group. Michelle, who kind of really brought Carlos in, is an amazing dude. Like just totally amazing guy. Really we had a good dinner. We had a fun experiment where we were wanting to go to dinner at STK in San Juan, and they were filled up, not an open spot. And so not only did we not have the right dress code, like we were in sandals and everything else, and we did not meet the dress code, but we kept working the angle to get a spot, right? And so it was just one of those things that we're like, we're going to eat here, and that's going to happen. So we just have to be as persistent as possible, and then we'll get in. And so they talked about it. There's nothing. Talked about it. There's nothing. And then we just kept asking it a different way, kept reframing it. And then they said, okay, here's the deal. If the 605 that hasn't confirmed doesn't show up, you can have that spot. That was like 20 minutes, but you can't wear sandals. And so we had to go and find sandals for Mike. Actually, it was for Michael, just him. And we went to a few stores. There was nothing that had shoes. And then we went into a Walgreens, and they had flippers, right? So I was like, you could put these flippers on, you know what I'm saying? Like that's at least covers your feet. I'm walking in flippers, but they had Crocs, some generic ass Crocs. And so Mike bought some Crocs, and we get back there and like, now they have to let us in. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to let us in. We went and bought shoes now. Now there's just we got too far down the road. And so we waited there for a little bit, and sure enough, they let us in, and we just had a nice dinner at STK, and a little bit underdressed for that occasion, but it was fun. It was a good time.
That there's a great book, and this is we can share a couple other stories about this, but there's a book by Alex Banayan, Banayan, called The Third Door.
Yep.
It's called The Third Door. And the whole concept of it is he references it to nightclubs. He says there's 3 doors to get into any situation. One is the front door, where you stand in line waiting just like the rest of the herd.
Yep.
Then you got the second door, which is the side door, where the VIPs, the celebs, you can come in the side door. And then there's the third door, to when you can't get in either one of those doors, but you still find a way to get in. And it doesn't matter how you do it, you get in. And you guys nailed that whole concept by doing that right there.
We live it. I mean, we've lived it for as long as I can remember. You know what I'm saying? Like
my funniest one, you got to share the Kenny Chesney story coming in off of Main Street.
Oh
at the Toyota Stadium.
Yeah, it's a valid story. So here's something in my life that I've learned, and I've learned it in a few different times, but I'll never forget. There's two situations. It was OU Texas, then I got a chance to teach it to my kids in a similar scenario. And when it's OU Texas, man, it is miles and miles and miles and hours of waiting of cars, and it never fails. The signs will point you all over here to these 2 lanes, everywhere saying these 2 lanes, these 2 lanes, these 2 lanes over here are always wide open. And you can drive all the way from North Dallas down 35, sometimes 35. 35 is a shit show, but definitely the tollway. Yep. And depending on which road you're taking to get down to the football game. And we just said, man, I can't sit. I don't know if anybody else is like this, but like I'd rather drive in circles. I'd rather drive the opposite direction. I'd rather do anything than sit in a line in traffic. And so I'll do anything to be driving. I don't care if it takes me longer. I'll feel like I got there faster. But in this particular instance, we drove past, 15 miles of cars that were all exiting on one exit because that's what the sign said for them to do. Yep. For OU Texas, passed every single one of them, took the next exit. And we pulled right down into the park. It parked like almost up front to the stadium, like within a block of the Cotton Bowl. And I was
back way.
It's one of those moments where I'm like, people are sheep, bro. They're just sheep. They just do whatever. Like, and so in that moment in my life, I was like, I will if I see everybody going this way, I'm going that way. If I see everybody doing this thing, I'm doing that thing. And that's where Dan Kennedy's whole money moves the difference, not similarity, applies to, layered into everything that I've learned is also the same, right? Like we do everything different.
Zag, right?
Yeah. And it's absolutely truth. Right. But yeah, the kids, we were going to Kenny Chesney. It was pouring rain that particular Kenny Chesney concert. And I said, y'all watch this. I said, we're not sheep. We're not going to wait in line like everybody else. I'm going to show y'all how you can get anything you want, but you can't just be sheep and just follow the order, follow the rules all the time. Probably shouldn't have taught my kids that. But at the end of the day, we did the same thing. We drove by all the traffic, all the way past the soccer stadium here where Chesney was playing. The first exit, pulled right back up to the front and parked. It's almost like people are so stupid that it's not that they're stupid, they follow the signs, but like the people that even designed the whole thing, like everybody should exit here and not the next 2 exits. Like it's just stupid. Right. Almost every time I've ever seen it happen, that's what happens. And so like, man, there's always opportunity if you just look around, right? Like there's always a way. Like don't just accept the one path that you're on. There's always another way to get there. And so like I think that's really what kind of instilled that whole mentality of there's got to be a better way, right? There's got to be a better way. There's just got to be. There's no possible way that you have to wait 3 hours to get down to the stadium. There's just no way. That can't be true, right? And so, but that kind of mindset is how it's how we problem solve. But it's always fun. It's always entertaining, if nothing else.
Yeah, no, it is. And, Jocko teaches that, that discipline, right? When you're locked down, looking down the barrel, you can't step back and see all of the opportunities around you. And so sometimes you have to disengage and step back for a second and look, and then you can make a better decision moving forward.
You got to rethink.
One of my business partners brought in
the Adam Grant's book. Was it Rethink or Think Again?
Think Again.
Yeah. I'm halfway through it, man. It's really good.
Think Again.
That's a good one.
It's amazing.
That's a good one.
It's really, really is. 5 more agents. I'm not sure how to start plugging them into our system. Agent number 1 speaks English. The agents, not so much. So, Mr. Hillsman, yes. So I was going to share when Jay was talking about Michelle and the crew out of Mexico. We're actually in the process of getting subtitles and things put on all the NAEA content so that they can be able to plug in and utilize the NAEA content as well. And we also have some agents out of Portugal. And so we're getting it also transcribed into Portuguese as well right now. So just know that something that we've always wanted to do with NAEA and take it into other countries. This has given us the opportunity to be able to spread and do that. So I would say,
and Brazil I didn't know this until it was shared with me, but Brazil is primarily a Portuguese speaking country. So
that's Rodolfo. Rodolfo's feedback as well. So as we're getting that Dan transcribed into Portuguese, you'll be able to utilize it as well.
Yeah, how crazy is that, right? And to a certain degree, Dan, this is a great example, I think, for everybody is, you don't know who's going to know somebody in another country, and you might very well find yourself in this very situation. And so we're having to kind of rethink things as far as our content and value proposition, and these are things that that they just don't have anything like, right? And so like if you take our content and they can massage some of the differences culturally out of what we have for the U.S. Some of it, there's not that much maybe to be massaged, but there's a few things, we really do have a way to help a lot of people. And so, yeah, it's pretty cool, pretty exciting to see international start to really take a foothold.
Yeah, it is. Very, very cool. Yeah, that's awesome.
And I would leverage workplace. I mean, I think, creating Facebook groups is great. This one's been great, but if y'all remember, we created this Facebook group out before there was workplace. And I think if you really want to get people indoctrinated, in these new countries, we probably ought to consider getting those people into workplace, especially coming in brand new, where they're going to have needs and have questions and suggestions and things of that nature. We want that to be nested inside of EXP's environment.
Yeah, I mean, it's the best search engine possible for anything EXP related.
Yeah, that's
so good.
Something we're gonna have to start thinking about, right? Like honey badger, Portugal honey badger, Brazil honey badger, like having those within the workplace environment. And, establishing some leadership within that, that's going to be an interesting dynamic for sure. But
for sure. Fun problem to solve.
Isn't it?
Better some of the other shit we've had to solve.
When you think about all of the years that we sat through strategy and we laid out our footprint, right? Like we would debate whether we would include Canada because we didn't have a focus on it. We had a lot of top people in Canada, but we didn't really have a focus on it. So we always said U.S. was the footprint. You ever imagine we'd be talking about Portugal and Brazil like that?
Never.
Right? Like, yeah.
So you're gonna get a kick out of this. So was doing an interview for a new hire yesterday through Justin Nelson's company through Spear Rocket. And one of the candidates came on and she was kind of giddy. And I was like, what's up? She goes, I've seen all your videos and I've seen that background. Now I am in here in an interview and I get to you're actually in front of that background.
Right.
I was like laughing. I was like, you're in the Philippines watching this. I said, how crazy. I was like, that's just crazy for you to say that.
It's nuts, man. Power of content.
So cool. So cool.
Brain.
Speaking of, I know kind of talking events, talking things. One thing I want to make sure, because as we're getting closer and real estate agents are notorious for waiting the last minute. However, I don't know how much of a last minute option that this is going to be for a lot of folks, as I know we're already halfway to capacity for St. Thomas. I know begging for some more rooms on the room block because it is already completely sold. If you guys are serious about joining us in St. Thomas in September for Kendra Reese Stasek Mastermind, it's KendraReeseStasek.com, can get all of the information in detail. I know Holly was begging yesterday to get more rooms released. I
think we still don't even know, but I think she asked for 10 more at least. And this is not a sales tactic. Okay.
No.
These events are by far, you can ask anybody that's been to them. The mastermind events are the most powerful events that we do. Getting people to those events is how you recruit your biggest whales. And it's typically, to put it in perspective, the typical average in the room was about 1.2 million in GCI, minimum of probably around 500,000 usually was about kind of the minimum. And it's kind of been opened up a little bit, but that's the caliber of the room. And when you get around people like that, it can change your life. So This is the only one we have on the agenda this year due to COVID and the question marks around events and changes that keep happening, like they just happened to hear this week in PR. So this one will be it'll be a heck of a show. So one you don't want to miss. And it will fill up and it will be sold out, and it will be one that we won't be able to do a whole lot about because the capacity of the rooms are still going to be in question. And so this is one not to sleep on for sure.
Yeah. I would say, if, for some reason you hesitate, you don't get a room booked within the room block, I would look at the residency at the Ritz. So it's still on the Ritz property, but it's 2 and 3 bedroom condos with full kitchen and living room. Fantastic. In fact, I prefer staying over there. You have your own private beach, your own private pool, your own private bar, but you also have access to the rest of the Ritz and the Ritz property. So, if you're not able to get in and get a room block, look over there. Do all you can to stay on property, because if you don't stay on the Ritz property, you're going to be a Jeep rental ride away, to the other hotels and resorts that are around. So just do all you can. Don't be that person that drags your feet to the last minute, and get out ahead of it and get it booked. Be fire. Excited. I'm being excited to get back in that room, man. It feels like it's been forever. Key West, right?
Yep.
Man, I will tell you too, if you guys are wanting to bring people, bring agents, it's almost 100% success rate that they join EXP after they spend the 2 days in that room.
Yeah, there's a like well, first of all, yeah, it's the highest leverage you can get. I mean, like, people are bumping into we don't have the agenda and the speakers exactly lined out, but we just had that meeting prior to me jumping on here, John, as you know. And it's going to be unbelievable. Like, the amount of content that's going to be shared and the detail and the things that are going to be top notch. Hopefully we'll have, Gene and Brent, some of the top leaders in the company there. And, just a ton to learn and take and sponge from. And, if nothing else, what happens at these events, I can tell you is you go back and you do that one extra thing that you might not have done before. And for people, for Levi, he did that, right? And that's how Andre got on board, or I think it was Andre. I thought it was a story. But it was just like that one, that reach out that one person that you may not ever reach out to because you didn't know what to say. And you're like, you know what, I'm doing it. And, it could be the difference in, you being 7 figures in passive income or not, because you came back inspired, knowing that knowing what to do and knowing you could do it. And so, yeah, it's powerful, man. You got to always be, coming to the events. And, I've gotten lazy, man. Shoot, I can stay at home. I can be a homebody, and not go somewhere. But I miss that human interaction. So don't sit back and skip being at the live events. It's a big deal.
One thing that I really love about the mastermind that we do is that, we all hear about the events and people are like, but the greatness was outside of the room. And what I really love about ours is that, man, it was great in the room. It was great out of the room. It was just a fantastic entire time. The moment you step off the plane until you're like, shit, I'm not ready to go, and so that's what I've been the most proud of, is that there's so much value in the room, and it's not just in the conversations outside.
Yes,
sir. Man, I appreciate you guys jumping in and hanging out with us and letting us kind of feel like shoot the shit today with everybody. Invite is a great strategy to get in conversation. Yes, sir. Great agents attend when you say. Do you want to go to Key West? Do you want to go to St. Thomas?
Right. You want to go to St. Thomas? Not really. That's a good opening line.
Mr. Hillsman will be wanting to say, do you want to come to Atlanta? Here pretty quick.
Let's go.
So, cool. Anything else, cuz, we want to leave folks with as they head into this midway point? Damn, we're already midway point of the month.
Yes, we are. No, man, I think it's stay the course. I had a few more guests come and visit here in PR, 2 more in the last week. So schedule that vacation if you want to come see us in PR. It's a amazing place that we're at here, and would love for you to come see us. But the big takeaway is in there's a lot of things you can do, but you better be talking to agents. Measure the leading indicator. How many people have you invited today? Get 2 people invited a day and committed to taking a look at the opportunity. And you do that consistently, and you'll look up and you'll see things that you've been dreaming of your whole life. That's simple.
Yeah, I think so. And I think, like you said, what are those indicators? What are the things within your control? And, really focusing on those things. We've implemented a fantastic strategy from one of our very dear friends, Mr. Blake Sloan, and, really being intentional with every day. And what are you doing to declare a win for the day that is something that is within your control to help grow new business? And, that's the only way you get a win for the day. And so really, really being intentional with that, having the conversations, the asks, the invites. I always joked with Jay about knowing who's going to be the most successful by just looking at his calendar and seeing who had scheduled the most 3-way calls.
Yep.
And I'd always see Mr. Hillsman's name on there. I'd always see Andre's name on there. I always see Levi's name on there.
James' name on there. Yep.
So for sure. Awesome. Cuz, I appreciate you. Thank you guys for jumping in. KinderStasek.com. Get those tickets booked, get your airfare, or at least get your rooms booked to St. Thomas. And we can't wait to see you guys again soon.
Yep.
Thanks, guys.
Later, man.
See ya.